Let's talk about Miss Sam Carpenter and her possibly becoming the killer in Scream 6.
What's your favorite scary movie? Amen.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, Pennywise the dancing now.
Oh, blood on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes, death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking about Scream 6, specifically a theory I have about Sam Carpenter becoming the killer in the next film and why that may not work as well as some people may think. We're gonna get into all that in just a second here, but first I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. So, starting this off, we have to say something to start this video off that unfortunately a lot of Scream fans don't really want to hear. But it's something that is unfortunately the truth for a lot of people. It's something that doesn't really bug me, it's something that I'm actually quite excited about moving forward with this franchise, but Sam Carpenter is the lead protagonist now. I know a lot of people want the movie to focus much more on Sidney Prescott or Gale Weathers, but how are you going to tell a story that tops the story that runs through like Screams 1 through 3? To me, that's fantastic. I love that. If you're going to tell another story with Sidney Prescott, it's got to be something that's fantastic, that tops that, which is going to be really tough to do, I think, because the Sidney story, in my opinion, is written very well, and I just don't see anything topping that. Especially, like, I love Radio Silence, they're great, but I just don't see them writing a new Sidney Prescott driven story that's like fantastic and amazing and blows everything out of the water. And at this point, we're basically making a sequel to what is their requel. So if we just like push these legacy characters to the side, it's going to feel like exactly what happened in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. You pushed aside the main characters and you tried to focus on other things, and it didn't really work. It just ultimately made things a lot worse. Also, by doing that, by pushing your new main characters to the side, you immediately show this lack of confidence in your overall concept that I really just don't want them to do in Scream 6. I think if they want this next movie to be successful, be confident with your new characters. They are good characters. The problem is, you've only seen them in one movie. You've seen Sidney Prescott, you've seen Gale Weathers, and you've seen Dewey Riley in 5 movies now. They have had 5 movies to build these characters up in a certain way. So that's why you definitely like them more than Sam Carpenter, than Tara Carpenter, then Mindy, then Chad. Of course you like them more than that because you've spent way more time with them, and for me, I've spent my entire childhood with them and now I've grown up with them. So of course I like those characters more. But if Sam is going to come anywhere near close to one of these legacy characters, if any of the surviving characters are going to be that beloved, we got to keep them the focus and tell a good story with them in these next couple of movies. Pushing them to the side just to try and get our like a little shred of something from our legacy characters is just, that's not gonna work. I mean, there's no other past movie that has ever done that that's been successful. Not that I can think of, at least. So to me, let's have these main characters be the focus of the story because they're the main characters now. And it's something that I know a lot of people don't want to hear, and people are kind of like upset about this, but like, I just don't see any more stories happening with like Sidney Prescott at the focus of it. How many people want to kill Sidney Prescott? It's gonna get ridiculous. It's going to take the realism out of Scream, which is something that is so important to me. Now, something a lot of people want to see from Sam Carpenter is her become the killer, for very obvious reasons. I mean, you know, she's the daughter of Billy Loomis, for instance. I think why so many people like Sidney Prescott, for instance, our past protagonist, is because she overcomes everything every single time. She always beats the Ghostface killer. She kind of, in a weird sort of way, represents overcoming trauma. In actually quite a literal way. She overcomes the trauma of almost being killed like every couple of years, which is super horrifying. And Neve Campbell herself has even expressed why she thinks it's so important for the character to stay alive. She will not do a movie where Sidney Prescott will die, and I completely respect her for that because yes, that would ruin a massive part of what is so important about that character. And with Sam Carpenter, I feel like we have something similar. Not quite the same, but a little different, but similar. And why I say that is because Sam Carpenter is a character that struggles with mental illness. And for her to be portrayed as the bad guy, I feel like is just going to fall into every single trope that past horror movies have done, where it incorrectly portrays mental illness in a way that's like way out of proportion. It's insane. It's like shows people where they're like absolutely like super crazy and they're going out and killing people. That's not how a lot of mental illness is, especially not whatever the heck Sam Carpenter is dealing with, which, yes, wasn't made super clear to us in that last movie, but I think if they want to break a certain horror stigma, something that's become this horrible stereotype that honestly I don't care for, is you always have the killer, who is typically a person with some kind of mental illness, portray that mental illness incorrectly and then have this like psychotic break that's super unrealistic, unbelievable, and something that I feel like is actually quite distasteful in a lot of areas. And what is Scream known for at the end of the day? Commentary on the horror genre, and in a lot of ways doing that but better. So I think a really cool opportunity they have with Sam Carpenter is to portray mental illness in a very accurate way by putting her at the center of the movie, making her the protagonist, making her the good guy, and then having her be the hero. It would be super empowering for people who also struggle with this watching, and I think would also be just a super original idea, something that horror never quite dives into because they always just take the easy route of making someone with mental illness the killer, some kind of psychopath, which to me, yes, is distasteful because it's always incorrectly portraying some kind of mental illness, which most of the time they get real specific about. Now, I'll get off my soapbox, but I think that this is a really positive opportunity here for them to portray something amazing with the next Scream film that I think a lot of fans would appreciate and could give us a new reason to really love Sam Carpenter. I just feel like it's not going to be quite shocking if Sam just becomes a killer in the next film, or maybe if in a possible Scream 7, because it's too obvious. It's way too obvious. It's way too like, oh yeah, that could totally happen. Anyone could come up with that. Anyone could write that script. I want to see something original. I want to see something different, and Scream is the franchise where we have always gotten that for the most part in the past. So let's make Scream 6 something different, something amazing, something that breaks stereotypes and stigmas and makes something new out of it, something fresh and something super positive for a great community of people. Sam Carpenter could be that, and I feel like it would just be a super missed opportunity if they ended up making her the killer or killed her in this next film. I really hope neither of those things happen, and we build up this character and rewrite her in a certain way that we make her just end up so beloved by the end of this like new franchise, this new part of the franchise, that she's up there with some of the legacy characters. I think it's a possibility. We're not there yet, and we won't be there after Scream 6, but if we have a whole new trilogy that focuses on Sam and Tara Carpenter, I think that could be the case here. These characters have potential, in my opinion. I know some people disagree. Some people are already typing on their keyboards saying Sam Carpenter sucks. She's nothing compared to Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, Dewey Riley. And you're right. You're 100% right. But like I said, it goes back to the argument I said at the beginning of this video. We've only seen her for one movie. Like, there's no way that could possibly compare to what the legacy of those other characters we previously mentioned. The legacy characters are better at this point. But if you're not going to attempt to make these characters as good as the legacy characters, why am I still watching? So I leave it up to you, Radio Silence. Are you going to go the Last Jedi route and just listen directly to your fans? Or are you going to build these characters up and make them as good as the legacy characters? You can do it. I know you can. I've seen your guys' past movies and they're awesome. So make Scream 6 better and better and better than everything you've done in the past. You have the opportunity to do that, so do it. What do you guys think, though? Do you think any of these Scream 6 characters could potentially be as great as the legacy characters if they were told within an amazing story? I think so. I feel like it's a possibility. We have to see where Scream 6 goes, of course, because we really just have like the exposition that is Scream 5. So Scream 6 is going to be telling if that stays true or not. It's really up in the air at this point. I really hope that's the case, but what do you guys think? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this new Scream 6 video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. If you want to support this channel further, make sure to support me on either Patreon or my channel members by just clicking on that join button on my page. Thank you guys so much for watching this video again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.